Don't do anything. Just let it pass. Everything will fix itself. Oh, just don't do anything, you say. But what the hell does that actually mean, man? Amazing. Thanks for the information. I guess maybe I'm cured now? I guess maybe now I know what to do? Maybe now this will be all over? But in all seriousness, let me try to explain to you exactly what this fundamental and pretty much most important aspect of anxiety recovery actually really means. And yes, what actions you need to take to not do anything. Because as many of you already know, I've been dealing with, or I dealt with, severe health anxiety and panic attacks for around 5 years. And they got so bad that I was in and out of the ER, in and out of medical appointments, doctors, had plenty of medical tests done. And it was my sole mission and quest to figure out what exactly is happening to me, what is going on with my body. Because in all of those 5 years, yes, anxiety was somehow in the back of my mind. And it was, of course, on my radar as a possibility. But the things I experienced, the things my body went through, the symptoms my body produced, it didn't seem to match my idea of anxiety or the way I read about anxiety on those big websites, you know. And now looking back and reading all of your comments, I think that is probably the biggest hurdle to overcome during any recovery journey. Because we all think that our symptoms, our emotions, our feelings, everything that we are experiencing in our reality seems just too real to be just anxiety, right? We never sort of give up hope on finding a solution for an underlying issue, if that makes any sense. I guess you all know what I'm talking about, right? You're all there now. So the way I felt and experienced anxiety was like there was this huge disconnect between how anxiety should feel like or should present itself and the way I experienced it. So my not believing, trusting and accepting the fact that this could all be anxiety led me down a deep rabbit hole. And in my case, it was really, really, really extremely deep. So when I read or heard or watched something and people told me to just let it go, just don't do anything, it will all pass on its own, let time pass, it just didn't make any sense to me. So today I want to kind of set things straight and be very straightforward with you guys and tell you exactly what people think or want you to do when they say don't do anything. Because what they are trying to say, or at least I am trying to say, is you've actually got to do more. So let me give you an example from today, as of this moment, which is actually perfect for this situation. Because right now I'm going through a separation and most likely divorce of my marriage of 10 years. My life is crushed, my heart is broken, and my anxiety is admittedly sky high right now. The future I have imagined myself or set up in my head for myself and my family and my wife drastically changed with a snap of a finger, just like this, gone. And once again left me in this gigantic hole of uncertainty without actually knowing where my life will end up and where I will be heading to. Sounds a bit familiar, right? Kind of exactly like when the anxiety and panic introduced itself into your life. Everything flipped on its head from one day to the other, or at least it felt like it. Am I right? I'm right, correct? So you would probably all agree that I'm probably not in the best mental state to make the best decisions for myself. Am I right again? I think you would all agree. If I were your friend, you would probably have some good advice for myself, or for me. Because if I would be listening to my brain right now, I would head right back into bed, soak in my own bitterness, probably freaking start spamming my wife, asking all these questions, maybe beg her to come back, say we can all fix this, I'll forgive, and just pray and hope to get all the answers I need to move on, or even better yet, get back together, hope that this all was wrong, was a misunderstanding, and that my brain can accept that this all never happened. So would you say I should follow my emotions, my instincts right now, and do that? If you knew the backstory of what happened, probably not. I don't think that anybody would give me this advice as of this moment. But again, our brains are kind of hardwired to be like this, to think like this, or to act like this. It wants me to recreate the bond for my safety, my family's safety, even my wife's safety. It doesn't want me to be an outcast. That is what my heartbreak and my anxiety is trying to protect me from, trying to save me that pain. It is telling me that if I don't give in to its requests, everything will turn into crap and burn. Nothing good can come out of this. But my rational brain is telling me that we are not in the Stone Age anymore. We will all come out of this fine. Even my kids will come out of this fine. I know that all my pleads and questions, even if they are answered, will not fix the situation or fix what has happened before. And I can and have to use my rational brain to go against something that is really screaming into my face. And here's the thing with not doing anything for this issue and also for anxiety in general. Well, yes, I could just go on with my life and do my best to do everything as normal as possible until eventually time fixes my pain, fixes my longing for connection, and I will eventually learn that I can be happy alone, happy without my family, or at least happy without my wife, and that I will be fine. I understand that. Eventually, my brain will catch up with reality, at least if I don't give in to these primal requests and sulk in my own pettiness and do my very best to just move on. But that process will take long. It will be accompanied by plenty of pain and stress and worry, of course. And here's the thing, man. That pain and time you can also use to outgrow your problems, outgrow yourself. And let me tell you exactly why you should be aiming towards that. And I know it sounds cheesy. I know it could be a line straight out of Andrew Tate TikTok, but it is genuinely a mindset that I think anybody dealing with mental issues related to the ancient monkey brain part of your mind needs to adopt, as stupid as it might sound. Because trust me on this, right now, I don't want to be making this video. I didn't want to go on that 10-kilometer run this morning. I just wanted to lie in bed, watch Netflix, and maybe cry a little bit. But to be honest, I did that before already. I did that enough. At some point, I need to do a 180 and do something for myself. I need to be someone who will do the things to get out of this pettiness, to get out of this misery, to get out of this anxiety. And that besides of the fact that everything on my inside, everything in my brain is screaming at me and telling me to do almost exactly the opposite. So right now I'm telling myself, I don't want to live my normal daily routine or my normal daily life and be miserable on the side. That's not who I am and that's not who I want to be. I don't want to wait until I'm no longer miserable and then work on myself. So I want to control my physical body, do a 180 and do what I know needs to be done. And the sole reason for that is because I know that I will come out of this stronger and better than ever. I did the same thing during my 5-year-long battle with anxiety. I just gave up my own pettiness. I just gave up feeling miserable and I just did what I had to do. And you know what? That 10-kilometer run I did today morning, I didn't want to do it, but I felt great afterwards. Not just because of the chemicals that flooded my body, but because I did something difficult. I did something I didn't want to do, but I knew was good for me, and I did it. The video I posted the other day, I felt ashamed of filming myself in that state. I felt like nobody would even care, but thank you to you all. It sparked something in me and showed me or opened my eyes that what I am doing is truly helpful and that maybe one day I can make a huge difference in the world. And that is kind of motivating. If I didn't get my ass up and do those things, I don't know how much time I would have wasted, how much more difficult it would be to do that first step again. And the same thing goes with anybody suffering from anxiety. If your anxiety is telling you that it's not safe to go for that run, if it's telling you you should not leave your phone at home because it could be dangerous, that you are out and about without any possibility for an emergency contact or whatsoever. If your monkey brain is telling you that you should measure your blood pressure for the 10th time today, if it's telling you that that twitch around your eye needs a fifth opinion from a doctor, well, you have to remind yourself that this is currently your heartbreak. This is currently your battleground. All these calls, all these requests from your monkey brain to do something is exactly what you are battling with right now. It's exactly what you need to go against. This is right now your biggest battle, man. I'm telling you. And the sad truth is that up to now, up to this point, you have always been listening to your monkey brain. because that monkey brain is just extremely strong. And especially in the case of anxiety, it can feel like a matter of death or life. That I'm not going through at the moment, I admit it. But I've been there. And because you've always been listening to your monkey brain, you always fell back into line. You always put it in command. You formed it into some kind of big, fat, nasty boss of yours. And it got stronger over time. And that's why I say, step out of line. Go against this boss. Listen to your rational self. Do what you already know is the right move. And start working on building a stronger you, mentally and physically. You will not go nuts and flip the whole thing 180 degrees and change the whole boss you dynamic in a day. That's not going to happen. That's not how it works. And that's not how you are going to feel. But you will have to make the conscious decision to step out of those boundaries you have set to yourself. You will grow in silence, in secret, and in pain and fear until eventually become strong enough to face what you need to face. And that's when you suddenly realize that you've made it and you no longer worry to step up to that boss. That boss seems very small now. And that's when you have overgrown your boss. You have become the person in charge. I'm not going to sugarcoat it here. You will be scared as hell at the beginning. You will feel like you're making it worse. And it actually can feel like you're making it worse. It can feel like you're putting yourself in danger. But remember, it is your nasty boss talking to you, trying to reel you back in, trying to put you back in line, put you back in place. That's exactly what is happening now. You need to go against everything you believe in as of this moment. Do something challenging. Do something scary. Do something that you can be proud of in the long run. Step by step, get yourself in the shape of your dreams. Train yourself to be more stoic. Read, build, do more of what is good for you. The pain and anxiety will fuel yourself eventually. You will feel like a king or queen that can conquer anything. You will just feel so much more capable as a human. Just trust me on this. This is exactly what you want and need. And most importantly, do this not because you want to avoid your boss or you want to crush him, but I'll tell you very honestly, but because you never want to be that bit of that freaking boss ever again. So join me on that journey.